When HTML was first introduced, its purpose was to allow scientists to share information over the internet. It wasn't until later that graphical web browsers came about, as HTML went from a neat little markup language to a publishing language. Since then, HTML has had various additions made to it, and different browsers wouldn't support some of these features, or they would support the feature but it wouldn't look the same across different browser versions. It all became quite messy due to the inconsistencies. Since then, a great effort was made to restore some kind of order, so along came the XML, a general language used to create specific languages such as HTML. XML provided the basic structure and a set of rules to which any markup language must adhere. This allows the cleanup of HTML's more messier aspects, and a new version of HTML was formed, which many people refer to as XHTML. You might be asking why I'm telling you all this gobbledygook. The reason I'm telling you this is that for the rest of these tutorials I will attempt to follow the stricter XHTML standard because it provides a more consistent and professional rule set and gives better results. After this tutorial I will begin to discuss CSS as well. For now, however, we will look at the correct structure for XHTML, and I will explain the different sections and tags to you. So I've just created a folder called HTML2, and we're just going to pop open Notepad. You may hear my cat in the background joining in. And there we go. So we got the code here. Now it looks remarkably different from what we created before, the rather freestyle web page we created before in the previous tutorial, which looked something like, well, it looked exactly like, oops, forgot to hold down shift, there we go. So it looked like that. So very messy standard, not very easy to read. It's all basically clumped together. This one, however, is a little bit easy to read. You'll notice I put spaces spaces between some of the lines. This allows the eye to more easily read the code. For instance, we notice that we got some tags here, and then all these tags happen in between that, and code happens in between that. It's just a lot easier and a lot cleaner to go through. Oops, excuse me, my cat's just crawling all over me. Go on, get down, boy. There we go. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Anyway, so this is a little easier to read, and it's a good idea to, whenever you got two tags like this here, anything between those should have an extra space in between it. It just makes the whole code a lot easier to read, and it does help you in the long run. So enough about that. Let's have a look at some of this really weird code at the top. Before we get into the guts of the HTML tags, we need to have a look at this rather messy code at the top. This line here, this line announces the the XML standard and character encoding standard. XML, remember, is the language upon which XHTML is built. It defines the rules and standards it must follow. UTF-8, as I understand it, is a multilingual character set that's backwards compatible with ASCII. For more information on this, I recommend looking it up on Wikipedia, but this is the standard used by most web pages on the internet. The next line defines the document as XHTML. So if we have a look at this line here, which is actually one line, but it's broken down into two, so it's easier to read. It's not all that important to understand exactly what all this means, but basically what you're doing is declaring to the browser that you are following the XHTML 1.1 standard. If we scroll down then to, well, if we go down then to HTML, sorry, the HTML tag. Now, I should point out there are two types of tags, well, three types of tags. There's an opening tag, a closing tag, and what we call, sorry, my memory's going. Opening tag, an empty tag. So opening tag, close tag, and empty tag. So this kind of tag here is an opening tag. This kind of tag is a closing tag. You'll notice that it's got a slash. That marks it as the closing tag, and this marks it as the opening tag. Now the empty tag, as you can see here, has a lot of extra code. You can end it by adding a slash there, or you can just use it more or less like an opening tag and then end it down here. So this HTML tag and this HTML tag are actually part of the same set. If we have a look at the first HTML tag, you'll notice that we've got some extra code here. Again, this is basically announcing it as the XML standard it's using. The XML-NS defines the XML namespace, and XML:language specifies the language of the document. EN, of course, naturally means English, and it should be in quotes. We're going to head down then to the head. Within this page is a head and body section. So you've got head there and you've got body there. The head deals with a lot of information that doesn't actually appear on the main website itself. Later on, as we begin more advanced code, especially as we go on to CSS, we'll be adding some additional commands into the header. So essentially, this is for areas of HTML that are not going to be displayed in the main body of the text. So if I just open up this file in the web browser, you'll notice that, I'll just split these across the screen, you'll notice that my first XHTML document doesn't appear anywhere in the main HTML itself. However, it does appear in the tab across the top. Older browsers, the name would have appeared across the bar there. This is very useful to announce the title. Of course, it's a title tag. The head tag, I'm getting a bit confused here. The head tag itself basically defines the area of the document that isn't going to be shown. It's all the header information that will relate to the program, sorry, the code in some way, but doesn't actually deal with the main body of the text. So it should always appear between the head. The title tag here relates to what I showed you before. So title is basically announcing the title of the page. While it doesn't appear in the main document itself, it does appear on the tab, and on older browsers it'll just appear across the top bar. Next we're going to go into the body of the XHTML. Body naturally means the body of the text. That's everything you see here. So anything you want to actually appear on your page as part of the main document, including images, hyperlinks, everything else will appear in the main body of the text. So it's literally the body of the document, the bit that the user gets to see. Now we already know what H1 means from our previous tutorial. It basically sets it up as a big header, or this will relate specifically to CSS in the next tutorial, and I'll show you that later on. We also know what P means. P is for paragraph, and that creates this section of the text there as well. So that is basically it. We already know from the, it's worth a random piece of information which may well be useful or it may not be, is that by knowing the XHTML standard, it's actually allowed me to develop more than just web pages. I am a published author on Kindle, and the way I developed that ebook was to the EPUB format. Now, the EPUB format uses the XHTML standard, so there are far greater implications for knowing how to do this and conforming to this particular standard than just simply making web pages. In the next tutorial we will discuss CSS, and I'll show you how to implement that standard. Please copy the text from this video and keep it as a template. I will be reusing this template a lot in the future, and it will save a lot of time if I can just open up this file and just insert it without having to retype all this stuff, which is going to be consistent throughout my next set of tutorials. So anyway, I hope this tutorial is understandable and you know what I'm going on about. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or send me or send me a YouTube email. If you have any suggestions for improving the tutorials, or if I got something wrong and you ought to point them out to me, please do it in the comments, and please be polite about it. No one's perfect, so it's entirely possible I've made mistakes, but I don't think I have. So again, thank you for watching the tutorial, and I hope to see you back for the next tutorial, which will cover CSS.